Francine V. Albar, and today we will be discussing the chapter 4, The Ends of Human Act. When we say the ends of human act, man does not act aimlessly when he acts. It is because he enjoys the actions or because he wants to achieve something by that actions. O ang tao ay hindi kadalasang gumagawa ng mga bagay ng walang layunin. Kapag sila'y kumikilos, karaniwan sa kanila ay mayroong dahilan sa likod ng kanilang pagkilos. Ito ay maaaring dahil gusto nila ang ginagawa nila o mayroon silang layuning nais nilang makamit sa pamamagitan ng kanilang pagkilos. The ends of an act. What we call end is the purpose or goal of an act. It is that which completes or finishes an act. Distinction is made between end of the act and end of the doer or agent. End of an act is the natural termination of an activity. Example is the end of eating is nourishment. That of reading is comprehension. Or yung naglaro ka ng basketball kasi yung goal mo is makascore. And that talking is communication. The end of the door is the personal purpose intended by the person performing the act. Example, nag-save ako ng money kasi gusto kong bumili ng bagong cellphone o kaya naman makapag-unwind sa beach with friends. Thus, a person thinks first of a purpose before acting. With the purpose is accomplished, the person aims to act. Hence, the motive is said to be first intention but last execution. Actions are the means of fulfilling a person's wishes or intentions. Kinds of ends. The end of the doer is either proximate or remote end, intermediate or ultimate end. The proximate and intermediate end is the purpose which a doer wishes to accomplish immediately by his action. The remote end is the purpose which a doer wishes to accomplish in a series of an act. Example is traveling, arriving in the final destination. The proximate end of eating is the satisfaction of hunger. Its remote end is the promotion of one's health. Number 2 is the ultimate end. It's the purpose which is desired for its own sake and not because of something else. The intermediate end is the purpose which is desired as a means of obtaining another thing. The intermediate end is that which is sought as a means of obtaining another thing. The ultimate end is that which is desired for its own sake. The intermediate end is either lead to another intermediate or to an ultimate end, and the ultimate end completes an act and stop further activity. Example, a student may think of his graduation as his ultimate purpose. The series of activities which engage him in school like attending classes, writing reports, joining a club, and passing tests are intermediate end, leading to ultimate end of obtaining an academic degree or diploma. The ultimate end is the drive that moves a person to act and undertake even difficult and dangerous tasks. A series of this diverse action finds meaning in relation to the ultimate end. Our routine daily activities, for instance, are related to our ultimate desire to live. Action and motivation. Alfredo Panizo gave us the opportunity to cite principles concerning human actions. Number 1 is every agent that performs an action acts for the sake of an end or purpose to be attained. Man is motivated animal. For him to act, he must first have a motive. A motive may be instantaneous as when one stands up to answer the doorbell or when one picks up something from the floor. Some motives are modest and inconsequential. Some are significant and important. An act done for a purpose is said to be deliberate or intentional. An act done without an intended purpose is said to be accidental. Number 2 is every agent acts toward an ultimate end. Every action is moved to accomplish something. The concept of action implies an ultimate end, which would satisfy the need of the doer. No, some person would take a bus without wanting to go someplace. Every traveler has a final destination. Number three is every agent has a power to move himself towards an end which he finds suitable for him. Man does not wish anything except that which is beneficial or suitable to him. Hence, every human act is a tendency toward what is good because only what is good is suitable to man. Nobody desires evil for its own good sake. The desire for money, for example, includes a thief to steal. Evil actions are done for the sake of obtaining something good. And as something good. Nothing excites the human appetite or rational desire than which is good, because something is good, it becomes the object of desire and therefore desirable. Man acts in order to obtain something good to him. Therefore, the concept of good is synonymous to that of end of purpose. Man does not desire evil for its own sake. Only what is good could be end of purpose of an act, either the ultimate end or the intermediate end. Aristotle defined good as anything which fits or suits a function. Food is good, either because it suits one's taste or the need for nourishment. Clothes are good because they fit the personality of the user or they provide comfort. In a higher level, actions are good when they fit the moral integrity of a person. Those acts which fit human nature are said to be good. They are makatao. Those acts which are unfit to human nature are evil. They are hindi makatao. Aristotle teaches that because it is the soul which contributes to the essentially of rational nature, the good that truly fits man is that which fits the function of the soul. This means that human acts are good when they are consistent with reason. Accordingly, we speak of actions as being in accordance or not with the dictate of reason. Evil, which is presented to the mind as something good, is called an apparent good. For example, stealing is desired as good because it is an opportunity for the thief to have something value for himself. Crimes are committed because the criminals regard that their evil acts as instrumental to getting something good. Thus, a student would cheat during an examination in order to pass the subject. A politician would wish his rival candidate murdered because he wants to win the elections. Apparent good. Man has a natural aversion to evil. Man is moved by nature. This first and fundamental act of the will is natural and necessary. Towards good in general is object. The beatitude is in general is end. And now let's proceed to the kinds of good. First is essential and accidental. Those that fit the natural needs of man as man are essential good. Such good include food, shelter, health, knowledge, virtue, and life. An essential good satisfy the need of a human as a human being. Food, clothing, shelter, tools, and educations are essential goods. Accidental good, that which satisfy the want of a person because of his particular situations. Expensive clothes, big house, a flashy car are personal wants of a rich man. Second is real and apparent. A real good is something which has an intrinsic virtue. Thus, we can call it value. It possesses qualities rendering it fitting or desirable. Real good is anything which has intrinsic value. This could be things, activities, relationship, or personal. An apparent good is an evil which is viewed subjectively as something of value, such as cigarettes, prohibited drugs, and vices. Next is perfective and non-perfective. Perfective good is that which contributes to the integral perfection of a person, such as education, virtue, food, exercise, medicine. Non-perfective good is that which merely contributes. Perfective good is that which contributes to integral growth or development of a person, such as education, virtue, food, and medicines. Non-perfective good is anything which merely contributes to the external appearance or convenience of a person, such as expensive clothes, money, or title. Number 4 is perfect and non-perfect good, also called unlimited or limited goods, respectively, or absolute and relative goods. Anything lacking in some qualities is imperfect. All material things are imperfect. A perfect is real good, endowed with all essentials needed to satisfy a person need. A perfection is either absolute or relative. An absolute perfection means complete in all aspects, which is what we mean when speaking of a perfect circle or a perfect score. A relative perfection is complete only in some aspect. Next is the greatest good. The greatest good is happiness. Happiness is what man aims to achieve in all his activity. The ultimate purpose of life is the attainment of happiness. Every human activity is a tendency towards the attainment of something good. Not only individual actions are tending towards the acquisition of good, but human life itself, which is the sum of all activities, is a movement towards the position of the greatest good. The greatest goods, or the summum bonum in the words of scholastic philosopher, is that which is a perfect itself, and capable of satisfying of human desires. It also the ultimate good, because it is the absolutely final thing which is sought for its own sake. The purpose of human existence is the attainment of a greatest good. The greatest goods, according to Aristotle, is happiness. He writes, by absolutely final, we mean that which is sought for its own sake and never as a means of something else. Happiness seems to be something of what sort? We also pursue that for its intrinsic value never as a means, whereas we pursue honor, pleasure, wisdom, and all the virtues, both for their own sake. We would want them even if they lead something further, and for the sake of happiness, since we think shall attain happiness by means of them. But no one wants something as a means to these other things, or ended as a means to anything else at all. Human beings have their need, while individual humans have their wants. Yung needs are those goods which is essential to the man as a man. Yung wants naman are those goods that individuals require because of his particular circumstances in life. Obviously, the needs must first be fulfilled before the wants. The meaning of happiness. Happiness is either objective or subjective. Objectively, happiness refers to something having intrinsic value and capable of satisfying a human need. Subjectively, it is the psychological state of feeling contented resulting from attainment of that which is good in itself. The toy is objective, makes the child happy. It's subjective. Happiness contributes to the perfection of a person, hence happiness is not just an emotion or something of value but state of being. It is the state of person arising from the position of what is good. Just as position of wealth makes an individual a rich man. The position of the greatest good makes a person perfectly happy. Number 1 is some people give the impression that money or wealth can buy happiness. Some people regard health and physical beauty as a foremost in importance. Health, of course, is necessary because it is a prerequisite to productive life, but health and physical beauty are easily lost to illness and age. Next is some people indulge themselves in worldly pleasure, but pleasure in themselves are limited by our natural capability for, for them. They do not last long and often to unhappy. Eating so much causes to stomach ache, if not wanted weight or obesity. Imprudent indulgence in liquor, tobacco, drugs, or even sex exposes one to illness and death. Next is some people seek fame and power, but these things are as perishable as the admired flower in a vase. Fame and popularity can easily be tainted by a rumor or indiscretion power change, hands as quickly as the direction of the wind. Next is some people would want to dictate themselves to the cultivation of science and arts. This is worldly pursuit which leaves a mark in their lives of the people, but knowledge is not useless unless it becomes an instrument for helping other people. Next is some people would consecrate themselves to the religious life, but but the practice of religion and the cultivation of virtue are aimed at attaining spiritual perfections. Let's proceed to the natural and supernatural happiness. Natural happiness is that which is attainable by man through the use of his natural power. O ang natural na happiness ay yung mga bagay na maaring magdulot ng kasiyahan sa tao nang hindi kailangan gumamit ng mga bagay na labas sa kanyang sariling kakayahan. Ito ay simpleng bagay na kapagpapasaya tulad ng malapit na ugnayan sa pamilya, kaibigan, pagtupad ng personal na layunin, o ang pagtanggap at pagmamahal sa sarili at sa mundo sa paligid. Supernatural happiness is that which is attainable by man through the use of his natural powers, as these are informed and aided by God's infusions or grace. Supernatural is a study belonging properly to moral theology. Ang supernatural happiness ni man ay ang uri ng kaligayahan na maaring maabot ng tao sa pamamagitan ng kanyang likas na kakayahan na binigyan ng tulong o gabay ng grasya mula sa Diyos. Ito ang klaseng kaligayahan na hindi lamang makukuha sa pamamagitan ng sariling kakayahan ng tao, kundi higit sa malalim at may kahulugan dahil sa pagtulong ng Diyos. At pag-aral tungkol dito ay karaniwang bahagi ng moral na teolohiya, sapagkat ito ay may kinalaman sa moralidad at spiritual na aspeto ng tao at ang kanyang relasyon sa Diyos. The ultimate purpose. Christian philosophers, notably Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas Aquinas, teach that man is in every deliberate actions acts towards an end, and ultimately to an absolute ultimate end, happiness. Man cannot attain perfect happiness in his life because God can never be known by man's natural power. Ang ultimate purpose ay ang mga Christian philosophers tulad ni na Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas ay nagtuturo na ang tao ay laging may layunin sa bawat kilos na ginagawa nila. At sa huli, ang pinakadulong layunin ay ang kaligayahan. Ito ay tinatawag na telos. Sa filosofiya na ang bawat gawain ng tao ay may layuning tinutungo at ang pinakamataas na layunin nito ay ang kaligayahan. Sa kabilang banda, para sa mga Christian, ang pinakamataas na happiness ay ang magkaroon ng ugnayan sa pagkakaisa ng Diyos.